If you are thinking about making the move to Denver in 2026, don't put your house on the market or start shopping for homes just yet. There are 10 things about living in the Denver area that I think every relocation buyer needs to understand before making the move. And some of these things are going to make you even more excited about Colorado. But a few of them could actually change where you decide to live. Because here's the thing, Denver isn't just Denver. And if you choose the wrong location, you can buy a beautiful home and still end up unhappy with where you live. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 10 things I think you need to know before relocating to Denver in 2026. And make sure you stay until number one, because I think this is the biggest mistake I see people make when they move here. Let's get started. The first thing you need to understand is that when people say they're moving to Denver, they aren't necessarily talking about living in the city in the county of Denver. They usually are talking about the entire Denver metro area. And that distinction is extremely important because once you start looking around, you'll quickly realize that communities like Parker, Castle Rock, Littleton, Highlands Ranch, Centennial, Aurora, Castle Pines, and other surrounding areas can feel completely different from one to the other. And that's actually one of the things that I love about Denver Metro. You have a lot of different lifestyles within a relatively manageable geographic area. You can have an urban lifestyle close to Denver. You can have a suburban lifestyle with larger homes and more space. You can look for newer construction further out from the city, or you can prioritize access to shopping, restaurants, trails, work, or recreation. The problem is that a lot of people relocating here start with the house. They see beautiful listings online, they love the kitchen, they love the backyard, and they immediately want to schedule a showing. I think the better question is, where do I actually want to live? Because the right house in the wrong location is still the wrong house. Before you start looking at individual properties, figure out what your ideal daily life looks like. Where do you work? How long are you willing to commute? Do you want new construction? Do you need a yard? Do you want restaurants and entertainment nearby? Do you want access to trails and outdoor recreation? Those answers can dramatically change where I would recommend you look. And that's why understanding the Denver Metro comes before understanding individual houses. The second thing you need to understand is that that price you see on the listing isn't the complete cost of owning that home. And this is especially important if you're relocating from out of state. You might see a home listed at $600,000 and think, okay, that's my budget. But there's a lot more that goes into the monthly cost of owning that property. You have the mortgage payment, you have property taxes, you have homeowners insurance, you have an HOA, you may have maintenance and repair costs, and depending on the property, you could have additional expenses that you weren't really expecting. Two homes with similar purchase prices can have very different monthly costs. And when you're looking at new construction, you also need to understand the difference between advertised base price and the finished price. The model home you're walking through may have thousands of dollars in upgrades. You may have structural options. You might have design upgrades. You might have a lot premium. You may have other costs associated with getting the home exactly the way you want it. So when you're relocating, don't ask how much is a house. Ask, what's my total cost of home ownership? That's a much better question, and it could prevent you from falling in love with the house that doesn't actually fit your budget. This is one of the biggest things I want relocation buyers to think about before choosing a community. The distance on the map doesn't necessarily tell you what the commute is going to feel like. You might look at a map and think it's only 25 miles, but depending on where you're going, where you're traveling, and what your route looks like, that commute can feel very different from what you expected. And that is why I always tell people to think about their daily routine before they choose their location. Where will you be driving on Monday morning? Where will you be driving on a Friday afternoon? Do you work from home? Do you commute downtown? Do you work near one of the major employment centers like the Denver Tech Center? Do you have kids who need to be driven to school or activities? These are the things that should influence your search, because your house might be beautiful, your neighborhood might be beautiful, but if you're spending a huge portion of your day in the car, you're going to feel that decision every single day. And here's another mistake that I see. People sometimes choose an area based on what looks close on the map without actually thinking about their normal driving patterns. Don't just look at the distance. Think about the lifestyle that comes with that distance, because a 20-minute difference in a commute can have a huge impact on your quality of life over the course of a year. Let's talk about something people either absolutely love about Colorado or spend a lot of time adjusting to: the weather. One of the reasons people relocate to Colorado is the ability to experience all 4 seasons. But that also means that you need to prepare for conditions that can change. If you're moving from somewhere with a completely different climate, don't assume Colorado's going to feel exactly like the place you are leaving. You need to understand that winter is part of the lifestyle here. You need to be comfortable with snow. You need to understand that driving conditions can change, and you need to be prepared for temperature swings. But there's another side to this. One of the things people love about Colorado is that you can have a beautiful winter day and then turn around and have an incredible stretch of sunshine. And for many people, that part is the appeal. The important thing is to move here with realistic expectations. Don't move to Colorado because you've seen a few beautiful Instagram pictures of a snowy mountain. And don't avoid Colorado because you assume you're going to be buried in snow all winter long. There's a little more to it than that. And if you're relocating, understanding the climate before you arrive will make the transition so much easier. And real quick, if we have not met, I am Jamie, a local real estate broker here in Denver, and I have helped hundreds of families successfully relocate and find the right home. Whether it's a new construction or a resale home, I can help. If you're thinking about making the move, don't be shy. Schedule a one-on-one buyer strategy call with me using the QR code or the link in the description. We'll discuss your goals, answer your questions, and create a plan that's tailored and right for you. If you're serious about the move, make sure to hit that subscribe button. That way you don't miss the next video. Now, let's get back to it. One of the biggest reasons people move to Colorado has nothing to do with real estate. It's lifestyle. People move here because they want access to the outdoors: hiking, biking, snowboarding, skiing, paddleboarding, camping, trails, mountain trips, and simply being outside. But here's something I want you to think about. Don't just ask yourself whether you like Colorado's outdoor lifestyle. Ask yourself whether you're actually going to use it, because there's a difference. If you love the idea of hiking every weekend, but your home is located somewhere that makes activities you enjoy difficult to access, you may not get the lifestyle you imagine. That's why lifestyle should be part of the home search. Maybe you're looking for a community with trails. Maybe you want easy access to parks. Maybe you want to be closer to the foothills. Maybe you don't care about being close to the mountains and would rather have a larger home and a better value. There is no one correct answer. That's the point. Your lifestyle should help you determine your location. And that's one of the reasons I don't think relocating buyers should start with a list of houses. Start with the life that you want to live. Then find the community that supports that life. Then find the house. That order can make a huge difference. If you are relocating to Denver and you're interested in buying a newer home, you need to know that new construction is a major part of the housing conversation here. And depending on your budget and lifestyle, it may be worth looking beyond established neighborhoods. There are communities throughout the metro where builders are creating new homes with modern floor plans, new amenities, and different price points. And this is an area where I think relocation buyers can benefit from doing their homework, because not every builder is the same. Not every community is the same, and not every new construction home is priced the way you might initially think. You may have to look beyond the model home. You need to understand the base price, and you need to understand the upgrades. You need to understand the lot premium, and you need to understand incentives, which I can assist you with. You also need to understand your time frame, and you need to understand the surrounding community. I've toured a lot of new construction homes, and one of the things I always recommend is comparing communities instead of simply falling in love with the first model home that you see. Because one community might give you more house, another might give you a better location, another might have better amenities, and another might have the floor plan that works better for your family. If you're relocating to Denver, don't automatically assume that resale is your only option. New construction may deserve a place in your search. This may be one of the most important points in the entire video. When you're buying a home, it's easy to become emotionally attached to that property. You walk through the front door, you see the kitchen, you see the primary bedroom, and you imagine your furniture in that living room. And suddenly you're thinking, this is the one. But before you fall in love with the house, fall in love with the location, because you can remodel a kitchen, you can change the flooring, you can paint the walls, and you can update those bathrooms, but you can't move that house. Trust me, I've thought about that many times with making my first home purchase and that same mistake. You can't change that surrounding community. So when you're evaluating a neighborhood, look at the things that affect your everyday life. What's nearby? What's the commute? What's the traffic like? When amenities are available? And what does surrounding housing look like? What is that community's overall feel? What is the community's overall feel? And most importantly, does it fit the lifestyle you're trying to create? This is especially important for someone relocating from another state. You don't have years of local expertise telling you which areas feel convenient and which ones don't. So you need to be intentional about learning the market. The goal isn't simply to find a great house. The goal is to find a great house in a location that makes a better life for you. Let's talk about another major consideration: cost of living. When you're comparing Denver to where you live now, don't just compare home prices. Look at the entire picture. Housing is obviously a major piece, but when you think about transportation, utilities, groceries, insurance, property taxes, entertainment, dining, and all the other expenses that come with your particular lifestyle, and this is where your personal situation matters. In a household with 2 workers may have a completely different experience than a family where both adults commute every day. Someone who loves eating out every weekend is going to have a completely different budget than someone who primarily cooks at home. Someone who wants a large home on a big lot will have a different housing expense than someone comfortable with the townhouse. So when you research the cost of living in Denver, don't rely on one generic number. Build your own budget, look at what you're spending today, then compare that to what you want to spend here. And most importantly, make sure your housing budget leaves room for the rest of your life, because being able to qualify for a house doesn't necessarily mean that house fits comfortably into your lifestyle. If you're buying from another state, buying a home remotely can feel very overwhelming. You're trying to learn an entire new area while also trying to understand the housing market. And then you're looking at listings online and trying to determine which communities actually make sense. That's a lot to process. This is why I recommend relocation buyers create a plan before they start touring homes. Start with the timeline, then determine your budget, then get your financing figured out, then identify the home that fits your lifestyle, then start narrowing down specific homes. And when you come to Colorado to tour, don't try to see 20 houses in one day just because they're all available. That can actually make the process much harder and much more stressful. Instead, group properties by area and compare them strategically. Look at different price points, look at the different home types, look at different communities, and pay attention to what you learn after each tour. You may discover that you thought you wanted a particular area but actually prefer somewhere else. That's valuable information. Your first trip doesn't necessarily have to be about finding the house. It could be about finding the right area. Once you know the area, finding the right house becomes much easier. Drumroll, this brings me to number one. If you're thinking about moving to Denver from another state, I don't think you should approach this like a normal home search. You need a relocation strategy because you're not just buying a house, you're choosing a community, you're choosing a commute, you're choosing a lifestyle, you're choosing how much space you want, you're choosing how much you're willing to spend, and you're trying to make all of those decisions while learning a market that may be completely unfamiliar to you. That's a lot. So before you start scrolling through hundreds of listings, step back and ask yourself 5 questions. Number 1, what lifestyle do I want? Number 2, what is a realistic budget? Number 3, where do I need a commute? And number 4, which communities actually fit those requirements? And number 5, what type of home makes the most sense for me in the current phase in my life? Once you have those answers, your home search becomes much more focused. Instead of looking at everything, you're looking at the right things. And that's the entire point of this video. Don't start with the house. Start with the life, then choose the location, then choose the community, and finally, choose the house. If you're thinking about moving to Denver in 2026, whether that's next month or next year, I hope this video gave you a better understanding of what you should be thinking about before making your move. And if you're planning on making a move and you want help figuring out which areas make the most sense for your budget, lifestyle, timeline, you can reach out and we can talk about your relocation strategy. My overall goal is to make your move as simple, smooth, and as stress-free as possible so you can move with confidence and a clear understanding of the next steps. I'd love the opportunity to be your trusted real estate broker and negotiate in your best interest. You can scan that QR code or the link in the description to schedule that one-on-one buyer strategy call with me so we can discuss your future move. I can't wait to meet you, help you find the right home, and make your move to the Denver area a success. Thanks for watching. Your friend in real estate, Jamie. I'll see you on the next video.